In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern, taking a look at a very up and down pattern is probably what I would call it. We have cooler than normal conditions looking to rebound after this heat is done after the next few days. It does depend on where you're at. These intros are hard because even though on the eastern seaboard it's warm today and tomorrow, and further west and northwest especially it is not, so it's hard for me to kind of relate it to everybody's current conditions, but very up and down. We have cooler air coming back. We maybe have warmer air rebounding after that cool down and then back to cool again, so it is going to be back and forth. Because of all of this turbulence and back and forth, we're likely, very likely, to see a lot of thunderstorms, a lot of storminess in general, and with that, probably multiple opportunities at severe weather, which, funny enough, is exactly what my thoughts were for June all along, is that we would have a very active, especially severe weather June, but also just thunderstorms in general, and it is really shaped up to be that way so far. First things first, we're taking a look at our 15-day temperature anomalies, the past 15 days, just so that we can see how things have been going. And just as we've been talking about, we have had numerous Arctic blasts move down from very far north in Canada and move into this area. And despite how the last few days have gone for some folks, it has been overall cooler if we look at the larger sample size of the past 15 days. But again, recently, especially in this corridor here, we've seen a lot of warming, and this has actually become less blue every video we've been looking at. A lot of this has come because we've seen a lot of this, the warmer than normal conditions really hugging that west coast. We call that a positive PNA, and this is actually the thing that forces that cooler air down into the eastern states, which is exactly what we've seen take place. With all that in mind, let's see how things are expected to go. And again, this area here is warmer today, a lot warmer than things have been. It's not the warmest in the world compared to normal, but it is warmer. We still see this positive PNA in effect, though, out west, and we see that next ripe Arctic blast on the way down into these eastern areas. So this warmth is not going to completely last. We're using actually the European model itself, the single model, instead of the ensemble today. I wish I could tell you that there was a real huge reason behind this. The only real reason I can come up with is that I'm filming this right after this 12Z run came out, and the ensemble model is lagging behind a little bit, and I didn't want to use the 0Z run for the temperatures and then the 12Z run for the rest. I wanted to stay congruent, so we're just using the European model today. It's going to give us a little bit more detail down the road, so when you think the 7-day mark, 10-day mark, 15-day mark, except for the fact that that detail, excessive detail in the long range, is more likely to fail. So we're going to be wanting to look more so at where the cold is, where the warm is, and not as much the intensity or the exact location or timing. So the less, we're gonna look at it at like a, I don't know how to put it. I don't know what I was getting at. Anyway, let's just look at it. Talked enough. Let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow afternoon. And already by tomorrow afternoon, we see a lot of this cold has arrived for the east. So we're cooler than normal once again. This is actually an Arctic blast. It's not going to be freezing, keep that in mind, but it is cooler than normal for this time of year by and large. When we look at the western half of the nation, this area is very warm. It is spreading further eastward, so a typical positive PNA is hugging the west coast, not stretching into the central states and central regions of Canada as much like this one is. So that's probably why the cold is pinched along that eastern area a lot more than what we're used to. Wednesday the 11th, it's a little bit 50-50 in the east. Some areas cooler, some areas warmer. Still very warm in the west, though. Thursday the 12th, same thing. Friday the 13th here. Again, cooler and warmer areas. I'm going to just go until we see some change. We see a much cooler pattern by Monday the 16th here for the east, where we can really tell where that cold air is. The east. And at the same time, we have these cooler than normal conditions starting out for northern Cali, areas of Oregon, Washington there. We see these cooling trends. If this expands from this, we might see the warmth just push eastward. So let's see what happens. It does expand from that point. By Tuesday the 17th, we see the cooler west. We see that warmth on the move eastward. By the time we're reaching Thursday the 19th, although there is some warmth in the west, especially further to the north and south, but there's this really rich cold area in between. And that's enough to really flip us into more of a negative PNA pattern where we have the warmth wrapping around underneath and moving into the eastern states. Maybe really, really nice pattern here. Friday the 20th, I mean, straight through. We don't really see any sort of cooling trends until we reach past the 20th again, like the 23rd here, for example, where we see the cooler air rebound in the east. The only doubt I have of this is we don't have a purely positive PNA along the west. There's actually a lot of cooler air here over Western Canada and the northwest of the United States. So I feel like there's a good chance that this actually would not result in quite as much cold air in the east as this is showing, which for me would be really good news. I'm looking forward to some warm summer days, but I know some of you have been enjoying this little bit of a delayed start to the summer that we've had so far. Let's take a look at some of the storminess. We do see a lot of it around for the east for today on Monday the 19th. Some severe weather chances as well, which of course we will go over at the end of the video as always. We do see some thunderstorms around for the deeper south and up the east coast again for Tuesday on the 10th tomorrow. It's all coming as this low south of the Hudson Bay is really dominating the pattern. As we reach towards Wednesday, we see a lot of things die down in the east. Unless you're laying across this Gulf area, there's still some thunderstorms here, but it's not pushing all the way up the east coast anymore. At the same time, Wednesday the 11th, we see instability along the Rockies, along the plains, and this could be our next low that wants to form in that area, which we've seen a lot over the course of the spring and now the early summer. So we'll have to see. Thursday, it's not happening yet. Still just the similar areas dealing with thunderstorms here that you can see on screen. Friday on the 13th, I mean, it looks like we want some low pressure in here. We have a bit of a warm front, bit of a cold front look, but it's just really, really weak to the point where I'm wondering if those dynamics are even really fully at play by this point. I mean, we're not seeing some sort of huge warm push up the east, and we're certainly not seeing a large cool air mass behind this. So I think everything's just all whack at this point, all wacky. Saturday the 14th is a day where we're just seeing widespread thunderstorms throughout most of the eastern states. Not completely widespread, of course, but just very, very scattered about that entire area. Sunday on the 15th, we do see similar areas dealing with some isolated and scattered thunderstorms. Monday the 16th, it looks like we're just seeing this area get bombarded. Tuesday the 17th, same thing. Even some Cascades and Rocky Mountain snowfall by June 17th here. Take that with a grain of salt. We're a little bit beyond 7 days here. This is 8 days out. We do have a stronger low there, though. Could be interesting to watch. There's another one here in northeastern Colorado that we'll need to watch as well. By Wednesday the 8th, we see one of these really take off here across south central Canada, and we'll watch. If the models trend at higher precipitation underneath this, this could be a pretty decent severe weather event, honestly, for like your Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Central Plains areas. We do have a lot of thunderstorm activity still along the east by Wednesday the 18th here. Thursday the 19th, again, not the craziest organization in the world, but I can definitely see development happening along that cold front, so I think this would have a severe weather chance with it. We are, of course, at 10 days here, so this is very far out, so take it with a grain of salt. Friday the 20th, some of that arriving for the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast there. Saturday the 21st, we get this very weak low here. Kind of wants to have a frontal boundary going. There is a lot of cold, dry push behind this, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is what we're seeing here. And this is likely causing some thunderstorms and maybe even severe weather in that area as well. Sunday, that's arriving more so for the East Coast. Also, by this point, I mean, look at the jet stream. We have a huge ridge in the west, trough in the east that's clear as day. It's very far out, though, like we mentioned. Monday, the 23rd, maybe some very slight tropical concerns if this model's right in the long range. Of course, like I said, the specific details aren't super accurate in the long range like this, so we just want to keep an open mind that maybe the jet stream and really the flow of everything might be conductive for some sort of tropical activity, but again, don't expect it to be right where it's showing right at this time at that exact intensity. Details like that are really hardly useful at this point at 342 hours out. So mostly just keeping our minds open that there could be some development in the general vicinity like that big sometime in the long range there. And we're very quiet to close things out actually by Tuesday the 24th. So with all that being said, I mean, when we look at the total precipitation, I used to have to, a couple days ago, split it into 2 larger areas, but now it's really just everywhere from Western Canada, South Central Canada, North Central United States, South Central United States, eastward into East Canada, East Coast area. When we look at the anomalies, I mean, most of these areas are above average, and a lot of them are very far above average as far as precipitation, especially the blues, where you're likely at 2 to 3 times your average. This is a 15-day precipitation anomaly map. So whatever you average from the 15 days starting on the 9th forward to the 24th, whatever your average precipitation is during that time frame, you're maybe looking at 2 to 3 times that amount if you're in the blues, especially the bright blues. If you're in the greens, you're at least looking at average according to this model. Looking at the Storm Prediction Center outlooks, we don't have any extended day outlooks today, just like yesterday, but we do have our 3 categorical outlooks here. So for today on Monday the 9th, we have this large lighter green area that is your general thunderstorm risk region, where we expect general thunderstorms, not severe weather. But these forecasts are very, very tricky, and bad severe weather can happen really anywhere in these areas with chances of thunderstorms. So you want to heed every watch, warning, and advisory, and just pay attention. We're in a very dangerous spell of severe weather day after day after day. A lot of areas, I heard Fort Worth had a terrible windstorm yesterday in the surrounding areas where we had the moderate risks. So northern Texas, southern Oklahoma had bad thunderstorms yesterday. We've just had a bad streak here, so pay attention, guys. The darker green areas are going to be your level 1 marginal risk, where we expect isolated severe weather to occur. And then your 3 yellow areas there, which one is very large there in the east, is your level 2 slight risk, where we expect more scattered about severe weather. Moving towards day 2, tomorrow on Tuesday, the 10th, we can see we have the large general thunderstorm risk area kind of doing a horseshoe. This is as that cooler, drier air is moving in, so it's obviously lowering the instability. You can imagine the jet stream is doing something like this. So the areas around that jet stream and where it's ridging have higher chances of thunderstorms. Where that cold, dry air is moving in, it's really lowering the potential for thunderstorms, as you can see. Kind of interesting there. But a very large general thunderstorm risk area, horseshoe shape, and then 4 marginal risk areas and a slight risk there for Texas and New Mexico. And finally, day 3 for Wednesday on the 11th, large general thunderstorm risk area and 3 marginal risk regions as well. With, again, at day 3, there's a lot of room for maybe a slight risk to sneak in there or something before it's all said and done. So keep that in mind as well. With all of that being said, be sure to subscribe. We upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.